How to control your emotions as a man. So being able to control your emotions is one of those skill sets that not everyone always thinks about, but it's probably one of the best skill sets to have if you're someone that wants to be completely exceptional when it comes to your personal life and your professional life. Because think about it, how many times were there situations where you got too emotional, whether it was a relationship, whether it was at a corporate stuff, and this has hindered you in life. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I constantly see it all of the time. I'm 23 years old, but I constantly see people that are 40, 50 being too emotional, overly invested, and this is one of the reasons they are not successful in life. Because if you can't even control your emotions, what can you control? Because there's only a few things in life that you have full control over, and one of those things is your mind. And to be able to control your emotions is extremely important if you want to get more out of life. And that's why in this video I want to talk about on how to control your emotions as a man. But before I go over these tips, I quickly want to go over the brain behind those emotions. So let's start with a quick science lesson, because understanding the science will already help us quite a lot to understand our mind, and this is crucial if you want to control your emotions. So when it comes to our brain, specifically the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex play such a huge role in emotional regulation. And that's by strengthening the prefrontal cortex through mindfulness, something that I will touch upon later in this video, you can enhance your emotional control. But that's not the only element. Your hormones also have a huge impact on it. Because I quickly want to touch upon testosterone and cortisol levels. If you are someone that has low testosterone levels, you'll be more irritable, and this will cause you to have less control over your emotions. And the same goes with cortisol. If you have higher cortisol levels, you get a higher stress response, and this will automatically enhance every single emotion that you feel. So now we understand the science and the things that affect our emotions, and now I want to talk about 5 quick tips on how you can control your emotions. Number 1 is mindful breathing. When emotions start to run wild, it's time for you to focus on your breath. Because all you're doing is that you're calming your parasympathetic nervous system by calmly breathing. And that's why it's extremely important to practice this regularly to have more emotional control. Number 2 is journaling. Unleash your thoughts. So everyone expresses their emotions in a different way. Some people just simply say to other individuals, whilst others can just write their stuff down. You can just literally write down what you're feeling like. Write down stuff. You don't have to think about it. Because when you write stuff down, it helps you with progressing and gives you clarity when it comes to emotions. It's kind of like having a personal therapist on your paper. Every single time I was at the lowest point of my life, I still remember I was writing stuff down. I was continually going over the things I was going through, and this just helped me cope with that. And that's why if you're someone that wants to have more control over your emotions, you need to unleash the thoughts, because don't keep them in your mind. And I know not everyone can always speak to someone, and that's why it's extremely important to have some sort of journal to help you to unleash those thoughts. Number 3, identify triggers. Know your triggers. You need to identify what's triggering you, because every single one of us have specific things or even specific sayings that can instantly trigger us. And that's why it's extremely important to understand what the things are that trigger us, and this way we can prepare ourselves, have more control over the situation, because now we know what these triggers are. Number 4 is practice empathy. So one way to have more control over your feelings is to start understanding other people's feelings. I constantly see it all of the time. People always feel bad for themselves. They're constantly saying, yeah, my life sucks, this happened to me, that happened to me. But constantly I'm looking at them and I'm like, it's not that bad. Things can be worse. I've seen people with worse stuff in their lives, and you just complaining about the little things says more about your personality, says more about the lack of control and your personality than the things that you are going through. Because when it comes to every single one of us, there's been people around us that have been through hell. They've been through worse, but they are still here and they're pushing forward. So what makes you different? These are the same things you need to ask yourself, because at the end of the day, we can all feel sorry for ourselves, but that's not the key to becoming an exceptional man. It's all about emotional control. And one way to get more emotional control over ourselves is to look at others. Try to empathize with other individuals, because your life isn't as bad as you usually think it is. And one way to find out is to put your focus on other people's lives. Help them build relationships, because this helps to control your own emotions and also makes you more emotionally intelligent. And number 5 is create a routine. Establish a daily routine that provides stability and predictability, because this stability can provide you more emotional regulation. And a routine simply helps you to manage stress, because now you've got specific tasks to do every single day and you don't feel bombarded. Because a lot of times when we feel like we've been squeezed in a corner, a lot of times when we feel so bombarded, that's when we lose emotional control. And that's why if you have some sort of structure in your life, this will allow you to have better control over your emotions. And that's pretty much the end of this video. If you have any sort of questions, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate your time and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye bye.